say thank you guys for coming out, taking the weekend, spending the time. I don't need that. All right. Thank you guys for coming out, being here. It means a lot to us. We've put a ton of work into this show. We just appreciate you guys all showing up. So thank you.
Yeah, without you, there'd be no show. So thank you.
All right, Anthony is going to go through the rules with you guys.
I'm Anthony. I'm going to go through the rules with you guys.
If you have questions, please hold them until we're done with that event, and we'll open it up. Okay?
All right, so before we go through event-specific rules, we're going to talk about rules for all events. First things first, your competition shirt or the Cerberus grip shirt must be worn for all events except for the stones. Okay, so for stones, men can go shirtless, women have to wear a sports bra, or you can wear whatever shirt you want. No bare feet, you have to have at least socks on for the deadlift only. I don't want to see a single one of you out here with bare feet running yokes. It's disgusting. No tacky, no sticky substances, no tacky towels, no spray tack, no none of that.
Spit on.
Cool. No, maybe, I mean, I guess you could spit, that's fine.
Ew.
Sure.
No, don't do that, that's even grosser. I gotta stand in the camera, okay. No gloves on anything, no built-up belt, so you can wear one soft belt and one hard belt. Your judges will be making the decision. If there's something funky about your equipment, they're gonna check it out. We already told them to. So don't try to pull a fast one, because you'll get caught. No suits or briefs except for the deadlift, and no doubling up. It's one or the other. Anybody who leaks bodily fluids, stay and help clean it up, unless you're like hurt, like be a decent human being, please, thank you. No grip shorts. You can wear neoprene shorts, they cannot have grippiness to them. Cool? For the deadlift, you can wear a suit, as we said earlier. Your competition shirt must be worn over your suit. Cool? All right, we're gonna get into specific events here now. Circus dumbbell is gonna be max reps, 60 seconds. You can start with your hands on the bell. The bell must touch the ground between every rep. If not, you're gonna get a 0. We wanna make sure that you're showing control. Your elbows are locked, right? So if you have the dumbbell here, you can't be falling forward. We want you to show control. Eye contact with your judge. Somebody said, awkward eye contact?
Uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable eye contact with your judge will help you get reps. Just so you know.
Making jokes here at the USS Nationals 2024. This is the rules meeting, ladies and gentlemen.
Dropping from the top, right? Show control on the way down too, please. We have double stations at every one of these stations, so you should be fine to control that down. Questions, comments, concerns about Circus dumbbell?
Louder.
Louder.
The drop pad is the ground.
There are no drop pads. These black mats are your drop pads.
Yes, the black mats, the stable matting is your drop pad. We will not be using drop pads for anything today, including Atlas stones.
Don't fucking miss it.
Yeah, don't fucking miss it.
Any other questions?
8 by 6. Come on, guys.
Any other questions?
Any other questions on Circus dumbbell?
What?
Yes, we leave that up to your judge's discretion.
Why would you do that?
You know, try to stay on track.
What the fuck? Why?
What?
Anthony, never mind. Move on.
So for the Circus dumbbell, does the rep count at lockout or when it hits the ground?
Lockout.
Lockout.
So if we get a down command and it hits 60 seconds, that's good?
Yes. But if you drop it, you get a 0. Cool.
Good question.
No, it wasn't. Don't encourage that. It was a dumb question.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we want to encourage you.
Can you tap and go? Yes, because it touched the ground.
Anywhere else?
Not mine.
Wow. I can see everything.
So Willie immediately took them off.
Willie, these eyes have seen the world twice over, trust me.
I think I saw into 2026 with those on.
Guarantee you.
Gained about 10 pounds back from your weight cut. That's okay. I'm -4 in both eyes.
Awesome.
So you that are joining us right now, this is the Nationals USS 2024. And we have a crew here on the mic, and guess what? I'm your host, SLC, the American Outlaw, and of course I'm joined by the American Treasure, Paul Leonard. And we also have Jen sitting over there, and we also have the president of USS, Willie Wessels. Jen, Willie, introduce yourselves.
Well, you did a great job of doing that already, but yes, I'm Willie Wessels here for our 10-year anniversary, 9th USS Nationals. Last 3 years, over 600 athletes, literally over 200 shows a year right now. As a matter of fact, this is number 1401.
No small
10 years.
feat for 1401 either.
No, not at all. I think we capped off pretty good numbers here today.
Pretty solid, pretty solid.
I mean, just look at the stands right now, folks. I don't know if the cameras are paying.
Oh, they are. They got them.
And we don't even have everybody here yet. This is crazy. Tomorrow is going to be insane. I can't wait.
It's been cool watching the weigh-in day 2 and all the things that are going on in the background, because it's not just weigh in, get your stuff and go, right? The bags have been packed with impeccable, it looks amazing. Premier TRT was back there giving IV bags, giving people help. The weigh-in was extremely smooth. You have Doc McDougall and his team with the muscle recovery, so you've got chiropractic work, massage work going on. It is a whole game. You have Cerberus, of course, the title sponsor. Ken has just set up an unbelievable booth, doing it by himself again.
Yes. Yeah, Caleb and Peter are still over in Scotland, They're like, Ken, this is all you, buddy.
Oh, it's unbelievable. But then you think about it, too, 10,000 pounds of sand bags that are here, brand new Cerberus equipment, brand new yokes. It's a big deal, Willie, which we put together with 12 lanes, 600-some athletes out here for this national competition.
It's funny because my wife just got into dump truck driving. She got her CDL. She just bought a dump truck. And just to put it in perspective, all this sand would not even fit in her dump truck.
What?
Yeah, her dump truck's that big, and it's still, there's more sand that she could actually carry in one load.
We typically don't talk about actual dump trucks in Strongman. We talk about some figurative dump trucks.
True.
But both. I love it, absolutely. But then I look at the stones, too, the quality of the stones.
Oh, beautiful.
These are beautiful and sealed and smooth and ready for that final stone over bar event, too. The weighted out gold weights on there.
Yeah, these plates are amazing looking.
That is absolutely beautiful. So brand new yokes, brand new sandbags. The Circus dumbbell is where we're going to start. Going over rules right now. We've got Justin Manning, Katie and Justin.
Looks like Anthony San Lorenzo over there helping him out.
And here's the thing. So many notable names. I'm sitting there looking at the sandbags and I see Aaron Murray. I see Victoria Long. I mean, the judging that we have, we have Gabby.
Star-studded.
Can you imagine looking up in a lane? I mean, if you're a female competitor especially, this is what's cool to me. I had Victoria judge a lane one time that I was on, and it's one of the coolest feelings in the world. And you're going to complain to Victoria Long? I don't think so, right?
It's like, this 500 feels heavy. Oh, come on, we'll make it 6.
Yeah, I know. And they're just absolutely wonderful. So you'll see a lot of amazing judges in each of the lanes tomorrow. So a lot of Josh Silvis. Are you kidding me? Like these super heavyweight men, you're going to question what Josh Silvis does.
And how big is that guy?
He's
Let me
a
tell you
walking
what.
rectangle.
If he's not pushing 500, I don't know.
Yeah, last year in Dallas when I first saw him, and I thought he was a mobile eclipse.
Yes.
And I know we just, I know
I called him that.
I know we just had a big one here in the United States, so I addressed him as sir and said, I have to ask you, because I used to be 325. I said, yeah, I weigh 500. He acknowledged it.
I believe it.
in
That is
awe.
a large man.
And very kind and soft-spoken.
It's always the big guys are always the softies. I love them to death. It's the small women, because we go down to 123, and the small ones are who you have to watch out for, because they are feisty.
Willie's going to say nothing. He's married and wants to be on good terms, so we can move right along.
Willie can still be feisty if he wants.
Hey, my wife is in that 123 class.
That's right.
So I know she is feisty.
He agrees.
Well, is there an event you're looking forward to watch the most tomorrow?
Ooh, I mean, right now, I would say that Circus dumbbell leading it off is going to be amazing. I train whenever our nationals we have, whether I'm doing it or not, which sometimes I feel weird about doing my own nationals. And this year I did sign up in the 60-plus class, but we capped out so early. I took my name off the list because I wanted someone to get that spot other than me. And then we ended up adding more spots. So I could have stayed, but it's okay because they really need the help. So I'm happy to help do what I want. But that Circus dumbbell, of all the events I was shocked how tough that was.
Well, I think they're good. as a woman looking through the weight classes too, the weight matrices, I love the weights that are chosen for this because I think they are heavy enough.
Yes.
And they're going to be challenging, and it's a national show. So, I mean, you have to push the limits a little bit here. And I love the weight matrix for this as well. And that Circus dumbbell, they're all Slater monster belts.
Yes, Justin worked out a deal with Slater, and he's always worked with us. And I think it was 19 nationals. He gave us 10 logs, so we could do the logs. And we just gave them back to him when we're done, and nothing happened to any of them. I was shocked because those guys were not gentle. We had, that was Chris Faccio's nationals in 19, and we had 470 people. And those logs did fantastic.
Some of these lanes are going to be interesting too. Again, the way this is going to be run is it's like 12 of their own little competitions, right?
Exactly.
So as soon as one lane is done, they're going to move on. It doesn't matter if the super heavies are still going on Circus dumbbell. It doesn't matter if 70 or so 220s are still going on the Circus dumbbell. We're going to keep things moving.
I have always believed in having the same judge with each class, because otherwise, if you run 2 head-to-head or even 4 head-to-head, you're going to have 4 different opinions. No matter how much you go over the rules with the judges, there's going to be I might give a quicker down call than you do, or you might give a quicker up call than I do, and then all of a sudden, you got people saying, well, they're giving quicker calls over here, they're giving quicker calls over there. Now, with one judge with the entire weight class, there's really nothing you can say.
That is a very helpful thing, especially as an athlete saying, I got the slow judge. He's just waiting too long to give me that down command. Or this person's feet were not set.
You remember years ago when they had the belt rule. You couldn't use your belt for the axle clean press. And I happened to be at a big show, and I won't mention who or where. It wasn't one of mine. But they said they could not put their belt on their axle on the belt. It was not allowed. 2 judges allowed it, their 2 did it. And they were all the same weight class. So 2 ladies had zeroed because they kept touching their belt, and the other ones who were touching their belt ended up getting like 6, 7, 8 reps. So that's just not going to work.
If you don't have a gut sitting out over there,
thank you.
It's very hard to not touch your belt.
Yeah, it really is. But you know what? That now all that everybody's changed that rule. At least I know we did. We started with it. We're like, you know what?
Belt cleans are for everybody. It's how the Lord intended.
Well, I went to all the international owners. I went to Ilka Mercel of SCL. I went to Glenn Ross of Ultimate. I went to Colin with World's Strongest Man.
Yep.
I said belt or no belt, and they said no belt. Then I watched their shows. They're all using the belt. So I'm like, that's it. We're going to allow the belt.
Allow the belt. I love it. Now, when you look at a crowd of 600 athletes that are going to be out here, there's going to be some new people.
Yes.
Right? There's going to be somebody brand new who's the first time at nationals. What should somebody expect from this environment to be? You've got a newbie out here where people are watching more into strongman and they're kind of just starting out. What do you hope somebody experiences when they come out here the first time?
The camaraderie, number one. I think what they're going to find out is how much somebody who's probably way better than them, way more experienced than them, is willing to help them out, give them some tips, and cheer them on. That's one thing I love about this sport is when your strap broke, here, take mine. And we're competing against each other. They're like, what? That people who are new are shocked how helpful other athletes are.
I feel like this is a brand new shot for you.
At least I got a suntan up there, so I'm good. Me and Paul both.
We share a barber.
We share the barber, and we get a good sun on our scalps. That's the first thing that gets tanned every summer.
Vitamin D.
The camaraderie is a really big, important part. And when Yanni and I are doing commentary tomorrow, one thing we spoke about was that we love competition day because it's like a day to get to see all of our friends. It's an excuse to see our friends from all over and catch up with everybody because you've all eaten the same crap sandwich for the last 3 or 4 month when you're training for it.
It's a reunion.
It is a reunion. Absolutely is every time. Always my favorite day. Weigh-in day and rules when someone asks a question and everybody's like, I can't believe you asked that question.
You can tell, those of us who have been around for a while, you got to just be patient because the newbies are going to ask everything.
Absolutely everything. Now, being in an arena, this is a fun part too. So where we are is the National Western Complex in Denver.
Yes.
So this is an agricultural arena too. I mean, they do all sorts
They
of
used to
races.
sell auction horses off in here,
Yeah.
cattle and everything else. They'd have about 8 inches of dirt on the ground and have all these animals out here, and people would just buy them left and right.
Well, it's a really cool arena, nice space, tons of room for people to sit with spectators coming, friends and family coming, and obviously on the live stream, we'll have people watching there too. So it'll be an exciting venue, very loud when we get there. And I love the tweak here. We're talking about somebody who came up with, let's make them carry the sandbag on their shoulder for this sandbag carry and load. Because
that is no joke.
Yeah, typically you just put it in, some people just carry it however they can.
Right.
It's going to take a second to get that third sandbag up on your
and
shoulder, especially.
And that third sandbag is by far the toughest one. When I trained it a few times, I was like, holy moly, do I go right or do I go left? I don't know.
Well, and then you think about it, you're running down with it too, so your legs are tired anyway. You're already tired. Then when you squat down, you're trying to get on your shoulder, however you're doing, your quads are burning, your hips are burning, trying to get that triple extension, get it up. I think it'll be very interesting to see who can finish it and finish it quickly.
Yeah, and now some of the guys I've watched in their training videos, they're flying with the weight. And I'm like, how do you do that? You know, one of my favorite people to watch train this was CJ Pierce
Yes.
out of
I
Tucson,
love
Arizona.
CJ, yeah.
He makes a 400-pound bag look like a joke.
And
I'm
he's
like,
not a
I struggle to
big
get a
guy.
300. Yeah, he and I are almost the same body weight.
Yeah.
And he pops right up and takes off. I'm like, wow.
He's extremely impressive, has been every time. I just love that too. So we're going through the rules meeting right now. Again, we've had the weigh-in day today, people getting rehydrated, reset, ready to go here in Denver. Whew, there's a lot going on today, man.
Yes, it is. Years ago, I think it was 19, we actually did Hall D at the Convention Center in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Where they've had a lot of big shows. And we actually filled up a whole hall ourselves, which was funny because we had Jim and Bob Lormer come in because we gave them an award for all their time they've spent with string sports.
Mm-hmm.
And they walked in. I'll never forget, Jim walked in. He was probably about 90 at the time. He goes, so what all you got going on here today? I said, Jim, it's just us. He goes, no way. You filled the place. He said, we usually have like 100 plus booths in this area. We got 2 or 3 events going on in this area. No, it's just us.
Just us.
He couldn't believe it.
Well, I want to make sure we don't gloss over this too, Willie, because this is not just you're going to win first, second, or third or anything here. What you do with your there's John Albrecht, ladies and gentlemen,
Mr. VP of
Albrecht,
USS.
the VP. Well, it's not just about. First of all, the belts are cool as hell.
Isn't that cool?
Absolutely love it. But also you pay people out. I mean, this is a very big deal, and the way you've structured it to make sure to structure it is something that is fair to everybody, equal to everybody,
Yes.
and the way you've structured it for a long time.
Well, we've always been hashtag FABA, for athletes, by athletes. We have, a board.
Mm-hmm.
And it's John, myself, Steve Barkley. Those are my 2 VPs. And then we have 3 women who are elected by the women to be on our board.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't pick them. I didn't handpick them. We put it out there. John and I ran an open election for 6 months. They nominated a ton of women, and then we let everybody vote. And it was Julia Smay, Liz D'Amato, and Phoebe Fisher that all got elected in by their peers. And so with anything we come up with any idea, I run it by our board. And then we run it by our reps, and then we announce it to everybody else. And it's always what's best for the athletes first.
That's a very important distinction.
And all 6 of us still compete.
Well, that's important too, because you guys understand what this was going
What
into
it
this.
takes.
What a bad experience is.
Oh,
what a good
gosh, yes.
experience is.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than spending thousands of dollars, and it's like, man, why'd I even come here?
Yeah, I mean, people forget. I mean, it's expensive to do this, right? And then that's what we pay for, though, right there. That is Cinnamon is on stage 3 later.
That was free, folks. That was free.
That's
for
our
everybody.
OnlyFans portion.
Well, we just
can
got canceled.
Tune back in shortly.
Well, I like to have stalkers too occasionally on our spots, and CJ Kraus cannot steal himself away.
I invited him earlier. I said, come over to the booth.
Come hang out.
He spent some time with me in Huntington Beach at
He
another
came over.
show.
He came over, saw Chris, and he was about ready to leave, I think.
I love it. But CJ,
Repellent.
He's hard to miss, but he will be competing tomorrow. He actually ate himself up to 220.
Oh,
that
yes.
was his goal.
It's about
So-
time. It's about Jen. You don't understand. We lectured him for years because we've seen photos of him before. He tried so hard to maintain. Like, dude, you're not a small guy. You're a big guy. Be big.
Be big.
I encourage it.
I love it.
Life is short. Get big
Absolutely.
early.
Well, and here's the thing. From here,
I'll get his lineman photo. You'll be like, are you kidding me?
From here, all the podium people in the open classes will qualify for USS Pro Internationals, middleweight or open, depending on where they fall.
I know.
And then they'll go on to that, and if the top 3 at USS Pro Internationals will get their pro cards, in the first place, people will get a pro contract.
I love it.
So they'll get paid every month until they come up to
Incentive.
me and say, Willie, I'm done. And I'll pass that contract on to somebody else.
Fantastic.
So it's like, hey, I would love to have somebody give me some money when I was competing.
Yeah,
it would have been nice.
I know. I think I still have the same straps from like 6 years ago because I just don't want. I'm just waiting for them to break before I buy a new pair, right? Well, Willie, you've been doing this with United States Strongman since 2014, so we're
Correct.
10 years in now.
10 years.
Biggest lessons you've learned and how to make this better, or things that you really need to focus on.
Customer service, number 1.
Okay.
You've got great customer service. So if somebody emails me, I email them right back. Somebody calls me, I answer the phone, and if I miss it, I call them right back. And that's the biggest compliment I get from any athlete is like, wow, thanks for the quick reply.
Right.
Because they say, we don't get that all the time.
They don't expect it.
No, they're like
Yeah.
blown away, and they're like, oh, I'm talking to Willie. When they email USS, they think they're talking to my secretary. So I say, I don't have a secretary. It's me. And they're like, wow, I can't believe you messaged me back. And I'm like,
awesome.
happy to do it. What do you need?
A one-man bureaucracy, folks. Thank
You're
goodness.
your own red tape. I love it. I love it. Well, you know what, too, Willie? Since 2014, and you and I talked about this off camera a little bit earlier, anybody who's been competing for quite some time has seen a really amazing rise in just the quality of athletes that we've got out here, just how freaking strong everybody is. But I'm so excited to watch the women's lanes tomorrow because what you've seen from the women in this sport has been nothing short of amazing in a very short amount of time. Used to be a 400, 500-pound deadlift was like, oh my God, you're doing great.
We
Now
talked
it's
about
like-
that earlier.
Yeah,
Wow.
now it's like if you're not doing it into the upper 5s and 6s,
Yeah.
you're getting left behind.
I mean, we've got 181 women pulling 600 pounds. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
It's unbelievable.
I hope I can still do that.
Well, what if athletes on the men's side, too? I mean, even the super heavyweight side, some really competitive 220s as well. I mean, you have 65 guys that show in that class.
Well,
I mean,
we've got guys who cut down like CJ, multiple CJs across this America, and they're pulling 800 pounds as a 198. That's a 4 times about Aaron Fondry.
Yeah.
CJ Klaus. I could probably name off 6 guys that are pulling 800 pounds at 198. That's insane.
absolutely. Speaking of insane, I think we do have CJ joining the live stream
I
right
was
now.
just enjoying the praise there from you, Willie.
Ah, there you go.
That's
Hey,
all I wanted.
this guy he won our USS Pro International Middleweight show in
I've won
at Dubuque,
I've won
Dubuque,
three-
Iowa.
won 3 of them.
Right. Well, that's the one I saw you in. So that was awesome. Great performance. He had a good battle on his hands there
did.
too, but he pulled it out. So he is qualified already for the middleweight USS Pro Internationals in Dubuque, Iowa, September 7th.
There you go.
And he's got a shot at a pro card and or a pro contract.
CJ was making everybody jealous in the weigh-in line earlier. CJ, tell him why.
Sorry.
Well,
Looking for sponsorship, sir. Get some.
Ben and Jerry's, that you're going to be my best friends for this.
Some good stuff.
The biggest thing here is I was trying to get to 220. But the difference is I'm under 220, so the goal is to get there. So we got there. We weighed in exactly 220, but it was a lot of eating and wearing shoes on the way up. So that was the goal today. So
Just people giving him the stink eye in
Hey,
line.
there's no tiebreakers by body weight, right?
right, there's none.
It's about how strong you are, period.
So, but I just want to give myself the best advantage to be as close to these guys that are cutting to 220.
Absolutely.
Let's put myself on 220 on the same radar. Let's do it.
Willie, I got a question for you. So, rumor had it that last year we sent a record. I think was like officially was like 5:57 or something like that.
We had like 633 sign up, and I want to say the day of the show with dropouts, we ended up at like 505.
505. What do we do? We know the numbers for now, as of right now.
I think they're ahead of the 505 mark as of yesterday. Now, today it depends on who shows up, who doesn't.
579
Yeah, it was like 570
Wow.
something.
Okay.
And I'm sure there'll be a few that won't show, but it's still going to end up being probably the biggest one yet.
But,
It's incredible.
For a show like that, though, to be that big, for Justin and Katie Manning out of Iron Titan Gym, by the way, they have been planning this for 18 months.
I would even say 2 years. I'm going to go even further.
It's got to be like that but you look at the detail put into this.
Oh, yes.
For this show and what these athletes are going to experience. You mentioned customer service experience. This is a big deal, especially for somebody you want them to keep coming back. We want to grow the sport. This is how you do it.
Yes.
This is how people do it. So, again, going over the rules meeting, had weigh-ins today.
Well, we pick venues out. Like Justin and Kate brought me this venue 2 years ago
No way.
to ask me what I thought. And we thought they weren't going to be till 25. It was supposed to be in Philadelphia for 24, but that promoter rep resigned.
Okay.
Because he wanted to spend more time with his kids, which I totally respect.
Right.
And so I went to Kate and Justin and said, hey, we're going to move up. And they're like, yep, we'll do it. So then I went to 26. He said, I'll move to 25. Everybody moved up one. So it worked out very well.
Hey, CJ, I want to know, too, from an athlete perspective, what the experience has been like for you today and compared to other shows you've done or just, your experience in getting through everything today.
Oh, absolutely no complaints throughout the whole experience from top to bottom, from getting informed as early as possible to making weigh-ins so smooth for so many athletes as we had today. So I really have zero complaints. It was very clear with everything. These rules mean that they're being answering every question very clear. There's going to be fair judging across the board. And I go to Iron Titan. They've worked so hard for this show, and it's showing with everything here. And the equipment is brand new. They've put in so much work. So this is probably, I've done a few of these nationals, and I'm a little biased, but I think it's the best one I'm probably going to go to.
CJ, how was the travel coming here today?
There's a little traffic on the way. So it took me, usually it's a 20-minute drive. Took me about 35.
That's
so,
awesome.
Yeah.
And that's why we do move it around the country. Give everybody their fair shake at sleeping in their own bed and competing.
Oh, that's the best, isn't
Wouldn't
it?
that be nice? Oh,
Oh.
my goodness.
Hotels are comfortable sometimes.
Everybody
right?
asks me when I'm going to have it in St. Louis, and I say, oh, I don't know. I don't know. It's so nice going everywhere else. I don't know if I got a place that I could do it there, but you never know. Maybe someday.
You could find it. You could pop out of Kansas City. At least you can, just drive a few hours and get over there.
Well, my son has expressed interest in taking this over when he finishes college.
Okay.
And what's funny is John, one of our vice presidents, his son James, and then Barkley, our other VP, his son Drew, they're like, oh, we'll work with Miles. So we could have the 3 younger boys of the 3 guys now take over the whole thing. Now, that would be funny.
That would be pretty fun. USS, a family affair.
John and I already talked about it. We said, yeah, about a year later, we have to take it back because they would probably screw it up.
Oh, my goodness. I love it. Whew. Speaking of John Albrecht walking away, he's got the gold laces on one of his shoes. Look at him. Oh, he's fancy.
Yeah, John was a throw coach for years when
That's
he was
right.
teaching. He was a throw coach. We have several guys here today that are either currently still throwing and or coaching throws too. I got to get John in touch with them all so they can share ideas.
I'd love to see this too, because you see the different backgrounds of athletes that come into strongman and where they're better or, more have a better advantage. I love seeing the throws guys do like a sandbag toss or something, for example, or people coming in from a CrossFit background who are so good at overhead, or people from powerlifting who just crush deadlifts. It's always fascinating to me to see what an athlete's background is, and then when they come in and what they're good at.
I think we get a lot of throwers in strongman because it's just a natural progression for them.
Sure.
So they'll make a log or a dumbbell or an axle look like a joke because, or Olympic lifters too.
Yeah,
their form is amazing.
My good, I'm jealous of
Me
it every
too.
single time. Mine is so ugly, and theirs just looks effortless.
Mine looks like a reverse curl press.
Just
They're like, if you did this, you'd lift a lot more. And I'm like, yeah, I just can't do
It's
that.
like, I can't say it on the air, but it's like a monkey and a football, and I think you guys know which
We
words go
understand
in
it.
between there. So we'll just go from there. CJ, are you planning to wear the glasses while competing?
At least on one event.
But you got to make eye contact with the judge, though. Remember that?
See, look at that. Bam.
That's perfect. See, he's ready.
Oh, he's perfect.
Real quick, Jed, you want to give a shout out to some of our sponsors we got there?
Oh, just a few of our sponsors? Well, obviously, Cerberus.
She's got a book.
I do have a whole, but you know what? This is another detail that Justin and Katie have put together, like this program.
It's
with all
wild.
the information, it's absolutely crazy.
I've
So
never seen
Cerberus-
this.
Yeah, Cerberus is our title sponsor, but then also Iron Titan Gym. We've talked about them. Odd Objects, another one. So everything on here. So Spartan Strength Series, Hunt, Lift, Eat, No Week in the Wild. Love it. Depth for Dishonor Squat. I think Willie's going to take off first. He's got to do some rules with state reps.
Thank you,
Willie,
sir.
Thanks for your time, man. Absolutely appreciate it. Muscle Mobility, it's when we talked about Denver Sports Recovery. Again, this is absolutely incredible. And also the people bringing you this live stream today, Valor and Venom. And Premier TRT is another one. There's my buddy.
Hey.
There's my buddy, my pal.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
on
Yanni,
the,
I'm so sorry. CJ just...
Yanni, get over here, Yanni.
We got plenty of
It's called
We got-
upgrading.
plenty of room.
It's-
We're just going over the sponsors. Jen was masterfully describing who's sponsored this amazing event. And,
yeah.
we all want to thank, again, Katie and Justin for what they've done. When they brought us on board for the live stream, I think we did our first meeting in January, and then they were at the Dallas show we did last year, but they are just the nicest people. This is their baby. We are so excited. This is like a reunion. It goes. The older you get, the quicker it comes around. Like, the Nationals, we couldn't wait to get here. So us at Val and Venom are just so pleased to be joined. And we did at least 4 conference calls, Zoom meetings, you name it, with the Mennings to make sure we had everything locked in. We had this. We had all this information on the Google Drive we use months ago to start getting our game plan ready for this, and then we got to meet with you, Jen, electronically midweek prior to coming up here.
It was a great time. Look at that bare foot just right in front of our face. No, it's been fantastic, and we did a production meeting with this guy, Yanni Bear, who just joined us. So Yanni and I will be doing the live stream commentary tomorrow, and then CJ, no old hat at this either, but glad to have him. A friend of the show, CJ Kraus, has joined us as well. So Yanni, tell us about, you just got back. You were in there in the rules meeting. What's the vibe? What you feeling? How'd that go?
My honest vibe is that people need to read the rules again and again and again, because sometimes the questions that we're asking, we've been asked before. We actually set a line of 15 questions that could have been answered if they read the rules, and we hit 16. So athletes, that's my challenge to y'all. As strong as y'all are trying to get, reading comprehension should be a close second. Let's go.
It's an age-old rule of strongman is don't ask a question you don't want an answer to.
Exactly.
If it's not in the rules, don't ask that question.
Exactly.
Is generally how it goes. But you always have those happen. But again, Yanni, you've been experiencing this all day too, with you and I walking around talking to sponsors, looking at the booths and everything. What are you excited to see tomorrow? What impressed you today? Like, I want to know all the things.
I am excited to see the efficiency that this show is going to be ran with. Just seeing how Justin and Katie are herding this group of 65 volunteers, and that's not even including the judges. So with the experience that the judges bring to the table, oh my gosh, I think we're going to see one of the fastest, most efficient competitions of this size that we've ever seen.
So I'm curious, who is your judge in your lane, CJ? I have to find this.
Yeah,
on the list.
I got it on the list.
It's on this list.
It's
If you
on
go,
the
you go
list.
through, you can.
Lane. I think that Lane is your lane judge. I'm not even kidding about that.
Yeah, so it's at the top, Lane Dar.
Yeah.
So Lane 6 is Lane Dar. I need to talk to him, Jen, because I need to give him some money to give him to give my boy over here some no reps.
No reps.
Yeah.
If it's split jerk, no reps.
Yeah.
Split jerk is no reps.
Are we certain that's my lane? Because I'm looking at Brandon Burley
Oh,
as
you
my
get
judge.
Brandon Burley? That was the
he-
Masters. is what I was looking at.
He just wants Brandon Burley just wants snacks.
Oh, but I don't know. It could be. We might be
No.
different here. So we'll see.
It's either Sean Shoemaker or Brandon Burley, but I
Yeah.
believe I'm lane 9 if I remember
I was
correctly.
looking at the Masters class, so you're quite.
Yeah,
that
you're
old
not a
yet.
Masters, bro.
You're not a Masters yet, so.
So Brandon Burley will be getting some treats for me to
to
help
very fast up command.
bring
That's
down.
all I ask for is very fast up command on the deadlift.
On that deadlift. What are you excited about as an athlete? What have people been talking about? The people who are the competitors for tomorrow. What have they been talking about the most? What are they excited about? What are they nervous about? Want to test?
I mean, everyone's really excited. It's going to be a big challenge for everyone. It is probably the heaviest nationals I've ever seen.
Yeah.
For USS Nationals, I think that's going to be a good challenge for everyone. One thing I'm excited to see is everyone's deadlift, because I'm not certain a lot of the athletes realize what a deadlift being the third event is, how they're going to be taxed on that. Because I've heard guys being like, oh, I'm going to hit double digits easy. And I'm like, okay.
Yanni's a little bitter that we're talking about deadlift right now.
No. Keep talking about how good you are at deadlift.
I didn't bring up me at all. I actually didn't say one thing about myself yet. But I'm just saying other athletes, I think, they're not realizing the power bar difference.
Sure.
I think a lot of them are trained on deadlift bars, and the power bar does take away a few reps. It's a little more taxing on the body. Strapping in on the clock, I think, is a big factor.
That is on the clock. Yeah,
Yes,
that's a big difference.
You don't
yeah.
get the strap in on that. So I think if you practice how fast you can strap in and get that first rep, I think it's important. But
I'm always intrigued when people strap in, but they don't use figure eights. If you're strapping in on the clock,
Yeah.
figure eights is going to save you so much
Infinite time.
And I my Cerberus figure eights. I mean,
Yeah,
I
they're
swear
great.
by them. They're fantastic. I mean, if it's a max effort, you can use your longer wrap straps, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just the figure eight, I think, is
So I think that's going to be the most
Absolutely
unique one to see is how athletes approach that with how confident they have walked in here saying that 605 pounds for my division is a light deadlift. And I'm like, okay.
once you hit rep 6 after 2 events before that. Like, tell me how you're going to feel.
That's one of the biggest things, especially yoke right before. Having yoke be at event 2, I think that's going to get one of the ones that if you're not efficient at yoke, like if you're good at yoke, you won't be that fatigued from it. But the athletes that yoke is not their best event or a good event for them, they'll be very taxed on the posterior chain.
And that's a 100-foot yoke, so it's 50
Yes.
feet down, 50 feet back. So you've got to
Correct.
pick it twice. You have to pick it at least twice.
Yes.
So that is a heavy yoke to pick once, let alone
Yep.
twice and run with.
That's assuming, you're finishing it, yes.
And,
Yes.
and CJ, for a lot of these athletes that I've been talking to today, this is still maybe their third, fourth, fifth competition.
Yep.
They don't have as much of experience as you do with competitions that are done with 5 events, like in 2 hours and a half, like the Pro Strongman League, and big events like this where you're going to be waiting for an hour and a half to 2 hours between events. Probably not as much, but, expect that.
For Katie and Justin's show, I've done a few of their shows, and I don't think it's going to be that long in between, but you're definitely going to have gap time. So I think I had about 6 athletes that I was working with for the show to make weight. I have them prepped for a quick event switch and a long event switch, and I think the right athletes will be prepped for that with their food tomorrow.
What did Aaron Murray say earlier to us, Yanni? Just be in better shape.
Yeah,
if it's going to be a fast show, just do your conditioning.
Just be better.
Just be stronger.
Yeah, more stronger.
Be more stronger. So, any athletes you're looking for, Yanni, that you are excited to watch tomorrow? Besides,
Yes.
I mean, just
For me, it's going to be Tyson Thompson. I think I went against him in January at the Battle Axe Showdown. He was actually the only person to complete the truck pull that we had, and I got second place to him, and I missed it by like 1 foot. He came out of nowhere, really impressed us. He's actually going to be getting a rematch with the athlete who got first place in our division that day. Sumner Hay. So the battle between Sumner Hay and Tyson Thompson is going to be a good one because the top dog in that 275 and under division is definitely Tommy Sharp. No disrespect to the other athletes, but Tommy Sharp is the one that I expect to be the lead a majority of the time. And the other guys better hope that he just has a mental mistake for them to be able to take advantage of. But my money is those three are going to be in the top three.
And I would ask, too, CJ, yours is one of the largest classes.
Correct.
The 220, we have, what, 65?
Approximately. I haven't.
It's 60 plus.
Yes.
I mean, it's somewhere. I counted the other day. I was like, son of a.
I can't count that high, so I'm glad you did.
That's probably true. Yeah, I could see that. That tracks. But yeah, so I mean, with a class that size, what does have to be your mentality going into that? I mean, it's got to be just a laser focus on myself.
Yeah,
right?
know your numbers. Know your numbers, especially in an event like this, like USS Nationals. They don't reshuffle. Like every event is your event. Like know exactly where you need to push yourself. Know exactly where you need to pull back and save energy. Because again, I assume this is gonna be a faster show. And just that's what it's going to come down to. There isn't a room to really let too much go unless you know you're a top guy at a certain event, and you have to be like you have to know that okay, no one's touching me on this event. But I don't think there's an event tomorrow with this group of athletes that any one of us could say that, which I think makes it exciting for the fans to watch across the board.
Especially when you have those like athletes that you're not as familiar with, but they have a powerhouse event like a yoke or a deadlift or something along those lines that you're not expecting. Suddenly they get a first place finish that you weren't expecting to be competing against.
In all reality, as an athlete, I would actually care less about an athlete that gets first place on an event that they're good at if they have bad events.
Right.
So let's say there's an athlete that is exceptional at yoke, but they know they're zeroing that Circus dumbbell. I would rather them get first place, because then it doesn't cost me any points.
That's fair.
That's something I look at with that one. So if I'm trying to look at those powerhouse athletes and be like, I got to make sure I beat that guy, because those are point thieves. The way I look at the strategy game on that one.
Point thieves.
Yeah,
I love that.
they're snatching the points, but they're doing the
Point
best
snatchers.
they can. But as someone that has an idea that wants to aim for a podium, you need to know that kind of realm right there.
And I love the fact that it's stone over bar for reps at the very end of this, because that right there will show you who's the most conditioned, who has got the most grit at the end. Like
Who has stayed healthy.
Yes, well,
And
when you think about it,
survived that.
after a deadlift for reps, then you're going to go 2 events later, and you're going to go into, actually, right after that, shouldering a sandbag. Shouldering a sandbag, and it's that same motion. Then you're already tired, you're worn out. I love stone over bar. That's one of my favorite events.
Yeah, and that's one of those events I think is not going to be a rep fest. That's one of those things, especially.
What do you think a top score in your division is going to be?
Oh, the top score is probably going to be like 8 to 10. But again, it depends how fatigued the athlete is.
I was guessing teens. Low teens,
for
like
350?
low teens.
I mean, that's great. That's good
Yeah.
for them. That ain't happened to me. But
my
I
weight class
always
is
take
like a
fatigue into
190.
account. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Like if you're hitting 10 fresh, you're probably hitting 7 to 8
Sure.
at the 5th event of a show, right?
True.
So that's kind of the way I look at it. Like, yeah, maybe someone did hit 13, 14 in combination. It's also we're on a timer. This isn't the way the old Pro Strongman League runs, and you can go for 20 plus reps because it's infinite timer on that one.
Yeah.
You have to be efficient with your move pattern. You have to know exactly where you're placing that stone so you get it fed back to you properly. There's so many variables that it's hard with the time you have to hit that T number. Not the strength these athletes have, but using your time well. I think that's when it costs certain athletes, especially some of these more, I don't want to say novice, but like less experienced athletes that this might be their 3rd, 4th, 5th show that aren't used to that adrenaline rush and knowing how to pull them back to place the stone where they want it and stuff like that.
You all said something really quick. I don't mean to interrupt you, but you were talking about how you would rather they place first instead of place a certain rank. How important I think it is for people that are watching this that are brand new, you realize you don't have to win every single event to be a national champion. I mean, I think people think that they get discouraged. They're like, oh, I can't do that. It's like, that doesn't matter.
You don't need to win one event.
Martine has been known for that, where he doesn't really win an event, but he'll place in the top 5 consistently, and that gets you the win.
And with a field of 60 plus, the winner in the 220 men's division could literally not win a single event and still win this show.
Well, see, that's why it's so different, the strategy involved in it, going into a class where there's 65 people, and then if you're in one of the women's classes, there's 3 or there's 10, or that completely changes the game when you have such a smaller class. So it depends on what you're going into. For women, if you have 10 people in your class, congratulations, you do need to be about top 3. And you really can't have an off event and have like a really low score and then come back and get those points back in the next event.
Yeah.
So
CJ, do you think it reduces somebody's accomplishment if they win the competition but they didn't strongman win at a single event?
You can only, no, by no means. That's strongman. Strongman doesn't matter how many events you win. It doesn't matter how many records you have. It matters how many points you can gain across the entire show.
Strategery.
Yeah, that's the biggest. That's the biggest thing. If you're trying, if your biggest accomplishment is winning event 1, but it cost you events 2 through 5, and you could have potentially won the show, no one's going to remember your event 1 win the whole rest of the year.
Right.
So it's just one of those things that, as you become more mature as an athlete, is understanding the game itself, the game within the game.
Yeah, and CJ too. You teach a lot of people about nutrition and recompositioning. People, if you're new to this and you need to cut weight, for example, cutting weight for a show, you see a lot of people doing that. People looking like death in the lines, waiting to weigh in. Oh, I feel so bad for them. And when you have 500 plus athletes trying to weigh in, that line is not necessarily a short line. They did a great job today, but it's not short.
It was efficient. I'll tell you that.
It was extremely efficient.
It still doesn't matter with that many athletes.
What are some of your favorite things to eat if you do have to cut weight? Today you ate ice cream on the way here.
Yes, that's
it's different.
Again,
it's
I was the only weight I was cutting was my pizza, but on that one.
That made me
so
sad.
is it directly after you're talking about, like right away?
Yeah, the right away, because you see people automatically, and I've probably done this before too, automatically start shoving food into their face.
Oh, that's the worst idea. That is by far the worst idea. The first thing you should do is gently sip on water. Keyword gently, and then some Pedialyte on that one. And within the first 30 minutes, that's we want to have that first, like 15 to 20 minutes, easily digestible carbohydrate. I usually give my athletes, and there's a little, you can write this down, guys, is a
I've
little
been doing this all wrong.
a rice cake and some like jam. Quick digestible, gets a little bit of that sugar back in your system, and then about 45 minutes to an hour, you have your first meal.
That's fair.
On that one.
Yeah.
You don't, and then your entire goal the rest of the day for this one would be lower fat, moderate protein, and ideally easily digestible protein, and basic carbs. Mm-hmm. And sodium, of course. Those we getting that back in. But we're talking about just the macronutrients. The biggest mistake I see with people is going out and eating like a bunch of meat right after they weigh in.
Yeah, so it's gonna make you meat sweats and tired.
That's what, and it's not gonna. You don't. What are you repairing?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
You've been repairing all week.
Yeah, you've been resting. You've been repairing. You've probably been eating protein all week if you did this right.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to put more protein in your system. If you did this correctly, you depleted your carbohydrate, your glycogen storages to make the water come out, because glycogen bonds with water. So that's the combination that helps water cutting.
Science.
Yeah. So the go-to.
CJ, the science guy. Oh, sorry. Seemed right.
Contact me for your next weight cut. But that's the whole thing.
Do you actually provide that service?
I do. I have a website,
does,
actually.
yeah.
gsknutrition.com. So there's a plug for that one.
I love it.
Let me ask you this. Let me cut in for a second. I love this sharing of information. So President Wessels referred to it earlier that you're a hometown athlete. So for those traveling in or watching this or competing tomorrow, competing at altitude, any pointers for anybody?
Water. Lots and lots of water. If you think you're done drinking water, drink more water on that one. That's the biggest key factor on this. You're going to start getting headaches like an event or two in if you're not used to this altitude.
Yeah, I'm coming from below sea level. It's already affecting me, and I'm not competing.
We will see it the most a couple reps into the Circus dumbbell if someone's really good at dumbbell. They will probably get 2 to 3 reps less than they're used to if they didn't properly get the nutrition plan for this. The deadlift for reps for those athletes that were telling me how many bajillion reps they're going to get, it's going to hit them hard about 5 reps in. You're not going to feel it much on the yoke and the sandbag, because those are quicker events, but definitely the 3 kind of go for 60-second events. If you didn't plan properly or if you couldn't get here early, it's going to be a tougher day for you. I promise you that tomorrow.
It's a good question, though, Paul,
Thank
on
you.
that altitude, because it does make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Where we are.
And the biggest thing, you're not going to recover as fast as you normally do. So that's where, again, that nutrition needs to be on point. Everything needs to be in place on that one. And again, it probably affected their water cuts on the way up here. I heard from multiple athletes that, like, usually it's easier, but they didn't take into account altitude and the dryness here.
Yeah.
And these are all factors that you need to take into account wherever you travel to.
Very excited for USS Nationals 2024. This test live stream we've got going now with Venom and Valor and Venom, whichever way you want to say it, either way is good.
Valor and Venom, thank you.
Valor and Venom, there we go. I had a little altitude. It was the altitude that got me. If I make a mistake tomorrow, it's the altitude.
You need more
altitude
water.
is how we're doing.
You need more.
Need more water,
H2O.
but yeah, make sure you tune in tomorrow. Comment. The best thing, Yanni and I talked about this earlier. The best thing you do, subscribe. Follow your favorite athlete. Subscribe to stuff that there's on YouTube. Subscribe to all the areas that you can. That's a free way to support and continue to monetize the sport of strongman in a very simple way.
Yeah, and then what's your YouTube channel page that you'll be answering questions on the Iron Titan Gym?
Iron
Channel.
Titan Gym will be streaming on Iron Titan
Iron
Gym
Titan
tomorrow.
Gym. Yeah, Iron Titan Gym is streaming it tomorrow, so I'm commenting as Jennifer Bates on there.
And
So
then
you'll
I'll
see
be
me-
commenting as Strong Personality. So if you have any questions, we're going to do our best to be answering questions, posting the information so you know exactly what you're looking at on the stream. But the questions will definitely help us fill in anything you're wanting to know.
And if you have questions for anybody we have on here who's
Yep.
sitting with us, like, or you want us to go ask Aaron Murray a question, you want us to go ask Josh Silvas a question at some point, yeah, we'll try to do our best and get up there and
Yep.
go do that and give you guys all the information we possibly can. Oh boy, that's where it's getting
Anthony
busy.
walking over here.
And then
Yep.
we're lucky. It's changed in my strength career, if you will, but we're lucky to have that companion website, Iron Podium, which we
Oh,
can direct.
God,
It's
yeah.
free. So if you're watching this stream right now on YouTube, we appreciate you. But get ready. If you haven't checked out ironpodium.com, it's free. It's the companion. It's the official scoreboard.
Mm-hmm.
It's free. If you open up the front page tomorrow, easy to find current events, and you'll see the Strongman Nationals. You can go down, open the scoreboard, and that's really updated almost contemporaneously with when an event finishes. There's 5 events tomorrow, but Iron Podium, I saw their crew here earlier. I did the Nationals in Dallas last year. They're amazing, and don't you just love that they allow everyone at home to find where their athletes performing as the day unfolds.
Yeah.
And Jen, they showed us a little sneak peek at something that they're working on for the commentating team, where we're actually going to be able to see a lot of the Iron Podium premium benefits all on one screen for us of all the athletes. It's going to show us what percentile they're in, how many competitions they've competed in. I think right now the number 1 ranked athlete out of the athletes that are competing today on Iron Podium is
Who? I don't follow.
Whoa.
I know.
Whoa.
It's actually
So what's your name again?
CJ Kraus.
What?
CJ Kraus.
No, it's
Who's
Cruz.
that?
It's Cruz.
It's Cruz.
I don't know why he keeps
Cruz.
mispronouncing his name.
Crows.
Crows, counting crows.
As Willie says, Klaus.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could be that. I don't know who you are.
But yeah, so Iron Podium guys to keep up with your score, but we will also be updating it throughout the competition as we will try to feed you the scores as we come along. Tell you what the closest battles are as everybody fights for a national championship.
Excited to bring it all to you tomorrow. Probably going to wrap this thing up right now. Thank you guys all for tuning into this fun test stream. We had Willie on here, we had CJ with Paul and Sean, and also this guy right here, Yanni. I am Jen Bates, and we're signing off. We'll see you guys tomorrow for USS Nationals 2024.
We got the band back together. A blink of an eye and we're all together.
I don't even know. Was anybody watching that?
Yeah, how many, yeah, I can't see. How many watched on? What were the views up to?
Not many. 53. Yeah, and this wasn't planned, so.
Athletes,